Road and lane closures may not be the only Olympic-related disruptions coming to Vancouver streets. A coalition of protest groups is calling for activists to converge on the city for the Games. CTV's Peter Granger tells us what they're planning.
For most Canadians, this is the acceptable side of protest. The poverty torch has been on the move throughout British Columbia since mid-January, drawing attention to homelessness. It's part tongue-in-cheek, part educational.
Well, this is happening a few days before the official torch relay comes along this route, so no disruption. We're a peaceful group.
The poverty torch is a mere flicker compared to some of the action shown by the Olympic Resistance Network, ORN for short, in the years, months, and weeks ahead of the Games. Its members have already disrupted the Olympic torch run in several places. Even that is a slight blaze compared to the inferno they're hoping for, now that ORN has invited protesters from around the world to Vancouver.
We are expecting people to converge here in Vancouver from all across Canada. We have people who have come in from Ontario already, and we're also expecting protesters to be coming in from the United States.
ORN is unapologetic about wanting to disrupt the Games. If protests do turn ugly, ORN insists that won't be their fault.
If there's violence, it's not coming from us. The only violence that I've seen in these sorts of things has come from the police.
ORN is preparing for violence anyway. It will set up its own medical clinic in the downtown east side beginning next Thursday, and protesters have been advised to wear goggles and bandanas soaked in apple cider to counteract the effects of pepper spray and tear gas. Peter Granger, CTV News. Everywhere in the downtown core of Vancouver today, a convergence of constables from right across Canada, part of the largest show of domestic security on the West Coast since the Second World War. It's all part of the plan for police presence, being made clearer by the VPD and the RCMP's Integrated Security Unit.
The ISU is responsible for 15 designated venues within Vancouver and the transportation corridors. The Vancouver Police Department is responsible for policing what the organizers refer to as the urban domain.
In other words, the Mounties control inside the venues, the VPD outside.
The police have not ruled out that they're not using provocateurs.
Anti-Olympic protesters in Vancouver are concerned things could turn ugly, as they did in Quebec City at the Summit of the Americas in 2001. Undercover officers there were accused of being agitators, an action which wasn't exactly denied today.
I think it's been blown out of proportion. Frankly, and I think they've got a lot of press out of it. But that said, all of the officers who work for me, and I know I speak for Steve, will act within Canadian law. I'm not going to get into the tactics and operational strategies that we'll use.
So expect cops you can readily see and those you can't. Officers have been told that most will be working flat out over the next month, 12 hours on, 12 hours off, no days off. And there are 5 newly opened reporting stations downtown, should you experience any trouble. Peter Granger, CTV News.